appreciate the opportunity to come before you all and explain this bill. House Bill 1231, it would create the Mississippi Outdoor Stewardship Trust Fund. It has a cap of $20 million. And what it would do, it would create the special fund that could be used for improvement of state parks, providing funds to counties and municipalities to acquire or either improve parks or trails under the control of that jurisdiction. Also, restoration or enhancement of wetlands or native forest within the state with the help of Mississippi Fish and Wildlife, for acquisition of critical areas that are dealing with wildlife issues throughout the state. The monies in the projects must be spent within 2 years. If not, they would go back to the fund. It also creates a new board, one that would have the state forester, the director of soil and water conservation, the director of DMR, the director of the Mississippi Wildlife, Fisheries and Parks, and the ag commissioner, with an additional 4 members that are appointed by the governor and 3 by the lieutenant governor. And it also has a reverse repealer within the bill, and that's a basic explanation of it.
Y'all heard the explanation. Do you have any questions? Mr. Dobson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the explanation, Senator Whaley. A couple of questions. One, as it relates to the fund, this would be subject to appropriation, correct?
Yes, sir. It would be subject to appropriations, and I can find the exact line. I believe it begins on line 172. Provide its recommendation for assistance to the legislature, which may appropriate funds from the Outdoor Stewardship Trust. So that would come through the appropriations process.
Okay. And then other question is, the board that is being set up, the 12 members, it looks like there will be 7 voting members and 5 ex officio. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
And out of those 5, would they be dealing? This is all going to be dealing with funds preserving soil, water, wildlife, et cetera. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. But we do have members of the Wildlife and Fisheries, the executive directors, an ex officio, and we've got somebody from the Soil and Water Conservation Commission also as an ex officio.
Yes, sir.
But we're creating a whole new board, though, in addition to that.
Yes, sir. We are. Unfortunately, we are creating a new board, but this is a bill that's come to us, and it's been a great deal of work put into it. And part of the reason for the reverse repealer is we feel like there still needs to be some work put into it. So as it goes along with the process, there will be continued avenues for input and ways to strengthen the bill.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Senator Whaley.
Thank you.
Senator Blunt.
Thanks, Chairman. Senator Whaley, I know you know better than anybody that we don't have the money to take care of the parks that we have on that. And I don't know a lot about this, but what I do know about it that I'm attracted to is, I think what we're trying to do is roll out federal matching funds. That's why we're doing this. So you talk about the money that we can draw down, because we're not appropriating the way right now to take care of the parks.
That is exactly correct. There is a federal fund, the Great Outdoors Act, and what that does is that provides match monies to where one entity could put in money and they will sometimes get a 3-to-1 match. So that's the whole idea behind this. And under the model that's being pushed through with the Senate now, we feel like there are plenty of projects in the public sector that could use the attention. State parks is one that's near and dear to my heart, and that's one that we've been talking about as this session has went on. So that's definitely an avenue that we could use to work on the state parks, and also your municipal parks. They would be subject to this as well. So this is something that, if you don't have a state park in your district, everybody's got a municipal park, so that's definitely something that could be used as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Other questions? Senator Blackwell?
Mr. Chairman, I'm curious, how does, these guys gonna be working with, EMR, when you're talking about restoration, wetlands, things on the coast, they gonna be involved? Is this gonna be a good,
Well, I mean, the director of DMR is on the ex officio board, so I'm sure they would have an input of some sort. Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion? Motion is title sufficient to pass. Strike all. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Next and last is House Bill number 928. This bill deals with corrections. It was passed by the Corrections Committee yesterday and sent to us. The changes are first on line 116. Currently, the Corrections Department has 4 deputy commissioners by legislation, by law, that's required. What the commissioner is wanting to do in this bill is to make one of those deputy commissioners kind of the executive deputy commissioner. And at his absence, this new executive deputy commissioner would act in his absence. But that's on line 116. It explains it. And then on line 163, it also talks about it again. And the salary is mentioned here. This executive deputy commissioner will be able to get a salary increase. It will not exceed that of the commissioner, but it can go up to that amount. And that's what the bill does. There is one other thing that's a little bit out of the purvey of the commissioner is on line 224. We talk about a certificate of rehabilitation. What's happening here, it will allow a person who has been convicted of a crime in Mississippi or another state or under federal law or in state military court to apply for this certificate of rehabilitation. It somewhat eases the ability to be able to petition the court for this. But that's what the bill does. If there are any questions, if not, I'll entertain a motion. Question.
Is there any specificity to the felonies that they would be able to use this certificate of rehabilitation for?
There is not. That would be,
it's just general, just catch all,
yes.
that they could get a certificate of rehabilitation. There's no mention of what the crime was, but that's different than an expungement. It's just, I mean, that's what I'm asking. I've never heard of certificate of rehabilitation. Maybe council can answer that.
There should be a difference in it. They have to apply to the court to get the certificate of rehabilitation. If it's from another state, they apply it in the county in which they reside. So
Okay, this is something that the commissioner requested. Okay.
yes, and I've checked with some of the senators that are involved in the rehabilitation process of corrections, and they don't have a problem with this.
Thank you.
Other questions? If not, do I have a motion? Out sufficient to pass. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. We'll move forward. That motion carries. We have a meeting scheduled at 3:30 this afternoon. That meeting was only called to handle any type of second referred bills that might come our way. We may not have to meet. If that happens, but we'll put a sign on the door, but also you're welcome to contact me, text me, starting around 3 o'clock, and we'll have a good idea. Do I have another motion? Rise report. Thank you.